I don't really like the term serial entrepreneur, but I'm just a crazy risk taker and don't have the fear to jump. I built businesses out of frustration, really. But every business I've ever started is started from a side hustle. I started my restaurants, and then all of a sudden I started doing all the tile work in my restaurant. So I said, hey, I'm going to open a construction company. Then all of a sudden I couldn't get great marketing companies. So I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to open my own marketing company. And then I went into training. I'm like, God, I can't stand training these people. I keep saying the same thing over and over again. So I started training company. But I've been blessed. I've been in the dirt my whole life. So I'm that entrepreneur that didn't just get lucky or didn't have an opportunity just to have rich parents. I scrapped from every business I've ever started. I started from nothing.
Beyond Virtual Podcast, another episode with one of my favorite, if not the most favorite. Sorry, Vin. Sorry, a couple of the other coaches that I'm currently working with as well. But Tony DiSilvestro is the man, the myth, the legend himself. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm excited for this podcast.
Oh, Shane, man, any time I spend with you is always so valuable. So I love being here today, and I'm honored to be on your podcast and kick this off and see how many people we can inspire and what we're doing today.
So for those of you that don't know Tony is, how do you literally put all of these different titles into one? I want to actually, instead of just me butchering this, because the resume is probably 45 pages long, Tony, just tell us your story, what you're currently focusing on now. Give the people who don't know you a little bit more about you.
I'm just that entrepreneur. I don't really like the term serial entrepreneur, but I'm just a crazy risk taker and don't have the fear to jump. So, every time I started a business on the Jersey Shore as a kid at 8 years old, opened my first company. And then after that, I built businesses out of frustration, really. So like everybody jokes the side hustle and, oh my God, it's just a side hustle. But every business I've ever started is started from a side hustle. I started my restaurants, and then all of a sudden I started doing all the tile work in my restaurant. So I said, hey, I'm going to open a construction company. Then all of a sudden I couldn't get great marketing companies. So I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to open my own marketing company. And then I went into training. I'm like, God, I can't stand training these people. I keep saying the same thing over and over again. So I started training company. But, I've been blessed. I've been in the dirt my whole life. So I'm that entrepreneur that didn't just get lucky or didn't have an opportunity just to have rich parents or something like that. I scrapped from every business I've ever started. I started from nothing. And, today in my coaching, while I'm my keynote speaking and my coaching, I think that's really what differentiates me and gives me an opportunity to be highly successful, because I've been there. I've had over 20,000 employees. So, and that sounds like, oh, great, he's had 20,000 employees. No, that's 20,000 situations that you had to solve. So, and what happens is when you start to understand that I'm only in one business. I've opened over 30 businesses, but I only open one business. I open the people business. And when you understand that you've actually opened only one company and you are in the people business, you start to be able to relate to your employees and your customers differently, because you know it. You have the experience of situational management, dispute resolution. You're put in so many different situations as an entrepreneur at this time. That's what's truly given me a huge advantage in what I do today.
See, this is exactly what I was talking about, the 45-page resume, guys. You clearly can understand where I'm getting at with this. I want to talk about just this little overview here. Building companies out of frustration. Nothing was getting it done right, so you built it. Continuously over and over and over again, when it was coming to training, to marketing, to construction, to restaurants, and to finding out the people business. And that's the highlight here that I want to focus on is, when did you actually find out this passion for people, that was your calling, that was your gift?
It's kind of weird. I grew up on the Jersey Shore as a kid, and my father was a police officer, but he owned rental properties. And at a very young age, I understood what a customer service meant. So I really was kind of fortunate to be so young to have to actually communicate with human beings. Like, oh my God, this person's paying my dad. I have to be nice to them. I'm cleaning their trash cans. Oh, I have to make sure they're happy. Did the beds work out? But this is at 8, 9, 10 years old. So then when I got into the restaurant space, which is a huge hospitality space, you know what I mean? Every single customer, you're only as good as the last customer you served in the restaurant business. So it gave me a crazy value. But now when I translate that into my construction company, which is a big company, I'm very successful in there, because my focus is on, I'm not building somebody's house, I'm building somebody's home. And I understand that. And the thing is, in the restaurant business, everything is now. In every other business I've been in, there's no sense of urgency in any of these other businesses. So now this gives me a huge advantage, right? Because I understand how to execute at a very high level and create exponential growth for people, customers, and the results that my customers are looking for. And it really makes a big difference. But when you understand that, when I say you're in the people business, and I'll say this to you, to your guest and everybody listening, I don't hire. I've had 20,000 employees. I've never hired one of them. I invest in every single person that comes into my companies, making sure that they understand I'm investing in them and I expect an investment on return. So it's really setting that expectation. But invest in your people and they will invest in you like unbelievable. And that's how you become successful. So when I say I'm in the people business and the customer service business, I really understand it because my people are the most important part of what I do. They always used to say, like, customers always right. And I believe that, but I believe it's 60-40. I believe that if you put 60% emphasis on your employees, the other 40% with your customers will come naturally.
Mm.
So the old school thing, like that, my old bosses were, the customer's always right. You don't have an opinion. And those days are gone.
I want to speak truth to
So
exactly
that's
what you're
where
saying.
that's where I'm at, and that's what I think is giving me a massive advantage to work with people. So
I apologize. I think there was a little technical glitch there. So, John, we're going to have to pause that one there too. It looked like you were frozen and then paused. And
you
I don't know if
too,
you heard me catch. Oh, I was paused too. Okay. So,
yeah.
the you're going to have to reiterate just that last sentence just because you were on a roll there. All right, hold on. Let me see here. Looks like you're at 90%. I'm at 99. As far as the connection, everything looks good here. Okay. Sorry about that. Doesn't love
I
when
know at
technology does
Riverside,
that
I
behavior.
just have to keep, yeah.
Can you just repeat the last sentence? Because you were frozen and I thought you stopped talking, and for some reason the audio cut off and I was interrupting you. I don't want that to happen. Um,
That's okay.
so, yeah. So,
So
as
what I
far
was
as
saying is just making sure. I think that's one of the biggest differences for me when I talk about investing in your employees. I think it really has given me a huge advantage in every business that I've been in, because when I go into my coaching business and speaking, when I'm speaking from stage, I really have the ability to relate to many entrepreneurs. If I have 300 entrepreneurs in the audience when I'm speaking, it doesn't matter to me. I look at one business out there, not 300 different businesses. It's one business. And, I think my advantage has just been from being a young kid on the Jersey Shore and being blessed to be brought up in that environment. And it just propelled my entire life.
I love your story. And to be honest, I wish more, um, I wish people still raised kids like it was in the 80s and 90s with less technology and less things and distractions in their face, because customer service, networking, handshaking, face to face, unfortunately, is phasing out.
Yes.
I don't want it to phase out, especially for businesses. This is relationships are going to stand true to the end of time. But with technology and everything enhancing, the comfortability level of hands and face to face and
Right.
networking is going out the window.
It's funny, Shane, real quick. I'll tell you a funny story from this weekend. I'm with my youngest daughter. She's 24 years old. And I'm at a furniture market. I'm helping her do, she does all my interior design work. And I'm going in to walk into a place, and she stands there and waits for me to open the door.
Mm,
And I'm like, yes. Because
that's right, man.
you know what that translates to? Every man that she's with will have to do the same thing. And,
Chivalry.
and that's gone.
Mm,
You
mm.
know, it's just amazing.
I'm gonna send you a video earlier that I got all teary eyed now that that I'm a father of two and from a son and a daughter. But my daughters are making me a little bit soft. I cried on an Instagram video from a wedding speech that the father gave, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening to me?
Girls do that to you, man. I'll start crying watching a TV commercial. I have three daughters.
But you raised her right, man. The chivalry aspect there of waiting, good for her, good for
Oh
you.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so I want to bring this back to the actual people element, and I wanted to speak a little bit more as far as what Tony has actually done for me and my team the last couple of months that he's been actually working with me and helping me out. I have been in a rut as far as the business has been doing phenomenal, but I've been able to be out of my business as a non-working owner to be able to focus on other things, and which is amazing. I have low churn, I have good sales, I have an amazing, well oiled machine. So I was like, what more do I need? I wasn't able to focus on overcoming these bottlenecks. where it was, okay, how do I get to the next level? What is the next level? I wasn't able to mentally get there without somebody who's already been in those shoes and getting me able to think that way. And that's where Tony's helped me personally and get to this next level. And before this podcast started, I was just telling him I'm starting these 12-hour days again, which it's almost like re-added this vigor to me. Like I'm excited. I'm getting up and it's like getting the new business essentially rocking and rolling, which is reinvesting down to it. And so I just wanted to say thank you for, actually talking to somebody who's been in a place where I want to be at. It's almost reassuring. And I think that's what business coaches, successful, great, awesome business coaches are there for. And unfortunately, there's just not a very high percentage of you out there. So I just wanted to say thank you. But my question is, because AI is taking over, robotics are coming into the next 5 years. Where do you see coaching in the people industry with AI and robotics coming into fruition in the next 5 to 10 years?
Man, I think it's a great combination. I think robots are going to be phenomenal, but as business leaders, it's how do you function in that world? It's no different than when we're talking about like millennials. Like there's millennial robots, right? Oh my God, how do I deal with these millennials? Like if you think about millennials being robots, the leaders didn't know how to function. They don't know how to even command them. It's like so foreign. And the funny thing is once you started to embrace it, you were able to get millennials to do anything because all they wanted to know was why and tell everybody. So the second robots come into our world, I think it's going to cause a ton of confusion. It's like I ask people all the time, "Are you on ChatGPT?" They're like, "No, what the hell is that?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, but this is what's going to happen in corporations and businesses, and especially in the training world. How are we training people with robots to be able to be more effective? My 24-year-old daughter, I just talked about it. She's like, "Dad, I hate Elon Musk. He's like, he wants to replace everybody's job." I said, "That's such shallow thinking. How are robots going to enhance what you do
Mm,
to make you more successful?" And I
mm,
think that's a lot of where the coaching is going to go is how can you be more successful with embracing technology to get to that next level. And it's funny, my daughter's using this crazy 8K graphic interior design software. She's blowing people that are in the business 30, 40 years out of the water. She's charging twice as much as any designer in town. And I said, that's robotics.
yeah,
That's technology. So
right.
the thing is, I think it's really educating people in the future how to function together and
Mm,
to excel their businesses, how to streamline everything. If you look at ChatGPT, it's enhancing everybody's life. But
mm,
if you're not using it, you're left in the dust. So a lot of what I've been working on is figuring out like how technology is working together. And working with you has been so eye-opening for me because I'm sitting talking to you, Shane, about a company that's very human necessary. Your BA business is, I mean, you need humans to accomplish that task. But
mm.
now you have a robotic process in AI that now combining the two is enhancing it so much that you actually have a more valuable company because of it. And I think that's where I'm ending up. And the more and more I talk, is no matter what, AI is not going to replace the human element. It can't replace the human psyche of emotions and process like that. So no matter what, we're going to have that in every corporation in the world. But do you have the experience to coach that? And that's what it's going to be.
I looked at AI about 18 months ago as also as a tool, as we need to embrace this because I do see the potential of it taking away a lot of tedious, mundane things that nobody likes to do at
Sure.
first. And then will it get elevated to blue collar, white collar, possibly? But what does that leave room for? Especially how what I'm going to be training my kids. Like my son, he's 3.5. He's never going to build a resume. I don't. He's never going to. I don't think he's going to ever work a regular job, which is unfortunately like kills me to say that. But I mean, what's going to happen in 15 years? Like, look how
Right.
everything is so expensive. So, what am I trying to teach my son? I'm trying to teach him how money and investments really work. And I really want to say this too. And this is a shout out to a book called Giftology. We put money into his piggy bank, and it's a small little piggy bank. And what we do is we actually count it in front of him, and we give him the total, and we take all the money away and say, what we're going to do is every month, I'm going to put 10% of your money that I took away back into your piggy bank. And if you want to spend that money, then great. That's what you're going to spend as the interest rate. However, if you increase that piggy bank all over again, we're going to take that away and I'll give you 10% interest back into your piggy bank. So I'm trying to understand at 3 how money is actually working, how interest is there. And if that money is taken away, what does that feel like for you? All that
Right.
hard earned like work and what he's done to actually get that in there. And then the next thing is entrepreneurship. That is a huge one that's not going to go anywhere. So I
No.
need to teach my kids entrepreneurship and to think that type of way because I don't think that's going to go anywhere. And the last thing, I guess, is relationships. I personally don't think, I think relationships now more than ever, especially with coaching, is if anything is going to be how do I get to this next level with everything that's automated with AI or all of the easy stuff that's taken over by robotics or whatever the future presents with us, how can I mentally shift that? And if you don't embrace AI technology and you hide away from it,
Right.
it's going to blow you over.
You're going to be gone. It's funny you said it. Like, so all three of my daughters are all entrepreneurs. They all own their own companies. So obviously, coming from an entrepreneurial background, I was driven to do that. My buddy's a doctor. All three of his daughters are doctors. But so, I mean, it's very common. So the thing is, though, like now I'm teaching my daughters and I'm going over them. Okay, what do you do? Is AI going to replace your business? Thinking about it, right? So I'm making them understand. So if you had to take AI as a tool, how's it enhancing everything you do in life? Because they're in their 20s, so they're already in the mix right now.
Yeah.
So what is it the difference? And I think it's such an exciting time, but there's so much fear around it. But when you have fear, that's where growth is. That's where growth comes from. If you're starting a business and you're not fearful a little bit,
Amen.
you're never going to be successful.
Right. But there's two sides of fear, right? Because the fear element, you can't put 1 foot here and 1 foot here and be afraid. It's
Yeah,
okay, I see what's in front of me, but I have to put both feet in and
yeah.
choose a direction. Whatever direction it is, that's
It
fine.
doesn't matter.
But you have to choose. You can't just mentally go boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, well, it is what it is. It's going to go away, or it's not going to happen, or I hope it doesn't happen. That's the worst. I hope. I hope. I hope.
I think my wife wishes I have more fear at times. So
I definitely agree with that element too. That's pretty funny. Our
yeah,
wives would get along just fine.
yes, no doubt.
So, as far as coaching right now, what are you trying to accomplish with coaching for the long run, and what are you currently working on right now?
Yeah, so coaching for the long run, I've been coaching for over 25 years, coached thousands of people, entrepreneurs in every industry. But now, like my passion is to help entrepreneurs and business leaders be successful. And what I started hitting is roadblocks. I only have so much capacity individually. So now I'm starting a global coaching company, but I'm doing it's like a three-legged horse. So it's basically going to be business fundamentals. It's going to be the neuroscience mindset, and then it's also going to be health and wellness. So I'm combining all three together because there's a huge thing, and this concept really came clear to me during COVID because there's so much depression right now, and people can't get out of their own way. They're losing confidence. They don't believe in themselves. I was coaching a guy today, and he's like, "I'm not sure if I should even be an entrepreneur." I'm dealing with that a lot. So my goal with this company is to combine all three and impact the world. So a lot of times when I'm coaching, I'm not only just coaching the CEO. Most of my effective work is with the C-suite and the team, the top level employees. So what's really great about this concept that we're putting together right now, we should be franchised very soon, and what we're going to do is we're going to walk into companies and work with a multitude of people, but working with not just business fundamentals, something I'm very passionate about, but we're putting together a whole neuroscience department and people and athletes. We have 2 athletes on board right now that are going to work with us, and we're really going to make a difference in the world. And that's what we're working on. So I'm hoping to have this up and running by September, October at the latest, where we're going to just go global. But we're all coaches already, but we're just kind of going to combine our efforts and just make an unbelievable package for companies to really excel.
I'm so curious on how it's actually going to work because those things are, they may sound together and separate, but when you really break it down, they're completely different.
Completely. So the
Yeah.
beauty of what we're doing is a lot of times when I go in to coach companies, if you go in and you just, and I've made this mistake myself, I go in, I'm business fundamentals, I'm rolling, man. I'm just like, okay, how are we doing this?
Right.
And kind of working with you, you shifted my gears so fast. Like when I even worked with you individually. So when I walk in, a lot of times, if I'm not identifying that they're narcissistic or they're not confident, they have low self-esteem, if I don't recognize that right away, I am only going to be coaching them 4 to 6 months. It's
Mm.
over. It's over. And that's where the problem is. So if I have the ability to scale or bring a coach in with me that's going to be able to teach them, work on their mindset more,
I
then
like
we have the ability to really make massive changes in their company.
I like that.
As an example, I was working with a company up in New York, and the lady that every time I'm with her, she's like, all of my people are stupid. But what the problem was, she didn't realize it was her. It was her. Very successful business, but
Wow.
I'm rolling on business fundamentals, making it. I had to shift gears and say, man, do you have a mirror in your bathroom? I need you to go stand in front of it right now
Mm,
because your people are your investment. So
yeah.
it may seem like they're different. And then the wellness piece, I mean, gosh, we all need that. I know, and I'm in the gym every morning at 5 in the morning.
Right.
If I'm not in the gym, I miss the gym for 3, 4 days.
Right.
I'm mentally messed up.
Agreed. 100%.
You
Yeah.
know, and what's weird is I'm in the gym, I'm working out, working on my health and wellness, but I'm listening to business podcasts while I'm working out. So I'm double stimulated always. So
I can't do that. I can't work out and think at the same time. I tried doing it. I tried doing it with audiobooks. Maybe I'm listening to the wrong thing, but I either need complete silence or I need a decent soundtrack to, work out for an hour, hour and a half, whatever the case may be. So you are hitting it
if I'm
perfectly.
struggling, man, I'll put Godsmack on and just hit it hard. But I mean, I listen to like somebody like Napoleon Hill or great books, 10x versus 2x. Benjamin Hardy's
Mm,
amazing.
yeah.
Just really inspirational stuff. And what's crazy, while I'm working out, my endorphins are going crazy when I'm lifting.
Right.
But now I'm getting stimulated with some business concept. I mean, some of my meetings after my workouts are some of the best meetings I have by far.
See, that's exactly the reason why I listen to audiobooks and consistently do like these, well, I wish they were face to face, these virtual face to faces, because after every single takeaway that I've met with a successful person in any way, shape, or form, I actually get something of value that it either reaches me in a business standpoint or a personal standpoint. Same thing. I forgot who said it, but they said you only have one special thing, one great opportunity in life, right?
Yeah.
And it's yours to either take advantage or not. But reading books, listening to audio books, and being in rooms with other smart people, there's more gifts, there's more opportunities. Learn from them, and this is how you can expand and evolve and not just be so singular about it. I thought it was amazing. I wish I don't know if it was Warren Buffett or
And
not,
a
but
lot of people talk about your superpower and things like that. But where I get the most value is when I hear people's struggles and their mistakes they've made and the
mm,
failures they made. Whenever I'm working with entrepreneurs and I'm like this, I like maybe I idolize this person. My God, they're so successful. I don't care about, I don't want to hear successes. I want to hear everything you failed. Where did you struggle? What
right,
was your biggest problems you had? Because for me, that's where I learn. And for me, as an entrepreneur with many different companies, I've learned more from my failures, my bankruptcy. I lost two big businesses. I mean, they were some of the best valuable lessons that I've ever had in my life. And everybody's like, well, what did you do? And I read entrepreneur books, and they say, hey, when you lose a business as an entrepreneur, you just get up the next day and go. And
mm,
it's so true. It's
mm,
exactly what happened to me when I lost both those companies. I got up the next day and said, okay, what did I learn from this? What am I doing with my next business?
yeah,
And it's very important. Like I like to call them like micro failures versus macro failures. You know what I'm saying? Because I
right.
try and as I'm older now, I try and avoid the macro failures, and I don't mind having many micro failures. It's perfectly fine.
This it has to be nature. It has to be in us in humans because this is not like an irregular thing. You hear this all the time. Tony
Right.
Robbins was a borderline homeless person who was a surfer.
Right.
David Meltzer lost $150 million, went bankrupt beyond, and then essentially rebuilt himself. Like
Yeah.
this is an ongoing thing. It's
It's
just
an,
if you're a hustler and what are you going to do? You have two options. You're going to go sit in a room and cry, which is probably what I would do first. And then you think of the whole and say, how the hell do I get out of this? And what am I going to learn from this? And how do I make it better the next time? Because
you
that's what
know,
it is. You learn.
a big thing too, like when I'm coaching businesses, is when to pull the plug.
Mm,
Because entrepreneurs, we get so emotionally attached. And I've heard you say it, I've said it a million times. These are our babies. You start this
right.
business and you're so afraid, man. But then if you have one that's going under, when do you cut the cord? And I was blessed to have an amazing accountant at the time. And he's like, hey, you have till June 30th. That's it. I'll never forget that date. But he goes, you have till June 30th. But it was the best thing he ever did for me. So it's like working with entrepreneurs and like especially in M&A. And like I work in M&A a lot with these people trying to sell their businesses. And the biggest problem M&A people have is they can't sell the business because the owner's 90% of the operation. So I'll work with these operators that want to sell their business, say, okay, how do we delegate? How do we get out of this process that you're the only person in charge? And it's really interesting when you work with like people that founded their own companies. It's very, very difficult for them to step away.
I think mental exit plans are definitely a necessity, but agreeing with you, especially from an employment, a virtual assistant business, it's probably one of the toughest things to even just think about, to put into your mind. But I think once you actually, think what's going to be best for the business, what's going to be best for everything, essentially just mentally visualizing it, I think that's step one, right? And then just going down the actual path. So I'm just curious, is there any advice that you can give actually towards that to anybody who has like been stuck or who is in a bottleneck, who is contemplating, should I get out? Should I jump in? Is it just a quick, hey, let's connect? Or is there any like freebie advice that you can give out?
I think you have to do an analysis. You see companies, right? They sell their company and the company goes unbelievable, exponential growth,
Yeah.
right? So
YouTube.
and you said it perfectly, are you hurting your business by staying in your business, or can you take something that you built an amazing, everybody has a ceiling. So many, many businesses have ceilings, whether you get to 100 million, whether you get to 50 million, 5 million, business gets stuck. And there's a reason they get stuck. It's because the top level people, it's either the CEO or the C-suite needs a change.
Right.
You have to look in the mirror and say, what do I want this business? Do I want this to be a legacy business and I'm ready to get out? Or am I hurting the company by staying in? So I always look at businesses this way. The first thing I ask, do you have an exit plan? When I coach brand new businesses, first thing I ask them now is, what's your exit plan? They haven't even opened yet. What's your exit plan? Where do you want to go? And do you see yourself selling at that point? I said, so I want you to think about that process from right now. But if you're in business right now, you really have to do an analysis. Have you reached your pinnacle of where you are right now? And you have to make very hard decisions. You either sell, you change your entire C-suite, you step down as the CEO, and then what do you do? Because you have to make very difficult choices at that point. And there's certain points where your business has hit a peak where it's worth so much money at that point that it is definitely time to sell. Because we don't have a crystal ball. We can't see the future. Nobody saw tariffs coming. Bang, businesses are freaking out right now.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Could you have hey, if you were in the hospitality space, it would have been great to sell right before COVID, but we don't have that crystal ball. So there's a point where your satisfaction level has to equate to your success and whether or not you should sell that business.
Sorry, one more element too. The satisfactory level, is it a number? Is it like, okay, I'm finally there? Like, how do you mentally get to that state?
You're talking to somebody that's been doing the same thing for a long time.
That's my point.
But like, so satisfaction for me, I had to have this crossroad where I looked at all the successes I've had in my life, and whether it's spiritual or not, you'll hear me say all the time, I don't regret a day I've lived. And if I left this earth tomorrow, I would be completely satisfied with what I've accomplished in my life. That is a personal thing within you. But there is a point, like I was saying, about the entrepreneur that's so emotionally connected to their business. They need to step outside the forest and say, what have I built? What have I accomplished? And a lot of times when we're in the middle of the forest, we can't even see what we're doing. We can't even see the lives we've affected. When I think about having 20,000 employees, I mean, that's a lot of meals, a lot of rent, a lot of everything. I've helped so many individuals pay. But when I'm in the middle of that, I don't think about that ever until some stranger comes to me and says, I can't believe what you've done for all these people. And then you start to realize, man, I have done this. And the longer in your business, you'll hear that more and more and more, and you start to realize, it's okay. I did great. I'm satisfied with what I've accomplished.
Man, just dropping bombs over here, guys. Oh, man, I love it. I'm pumped up. I got goosebumps over here.
There you go. Love it, baby.
Well, Tony, thank you so much for jumping on here. Where can people find you? Where can they get the opportunity to figure out, if you're the right fit for their coaching? Shout yourself out, man.
Yeah, TonyDiSilvestro.com. I'm sure we can put a link in the podcast. But the biggest thing, it's not even about coaching you right away. For me, jump on a call with me for 15 minutes. Just brain dump on me, man. Have a blast. I love just talking to people. With Shane's company, I've been part of the AI group for a while now, and it's great. I've got all these leads. I talked to a customer 20 minutes ago from Shane's AI company, and this guy was just incredible. And he's putting these people that are getting laid off right now, he's putting them into franchising. And I'm like, man,
Oh,
I would love to help you.
yeah.
Like, they don't have business acumen, so I'm working on helping him. But it's all because of working with Shane. And it's been an amazing adventure for me, and I just love what you're doing every day, man. And I can't thank you enough. I'm blessed to be part of your life, and looking forward to it.
Well,
But
with
yeah,
that, I'm really respecting that.
Tony D talks, TonyDSilvestro.com. Just pick up that phone, give me a 15-minute call, and we'll make it happen.
Well, I appreciate it so much. And I definitely paid Tony to say that, guys. So, don't believe anything he says. I'm just
Love it. He's lied.
All right. Well, Tony, thanks again so much for your time. Guys, stay tuned for another episode of Beyond Virtual Podcast, where we're going to host only exclusive VA Group guests, VA Group clients of ours on another episode of Beyond Virtual Podcast. We're out. Bye, guys.
Take care.